Namaskar, good evening, Sat Sri Akal, Adab. This is Ashok Bakshi from Zana Family Delhi chapter. And on behalf of Zana Family, we welcome all of you for today's session on the topic Divyangs disability, and Professor Atul Bhatnagar is the speaker on this topic. Before I hand over microphone to him to give his presentation, I would like to give little introduction of Professor Dr. Atul Bhatnagar. He considered himself lucky for having got the opportunity to work in some of the best in class organizations like the National Skill Development Corporation, Citibank India, HSBC Middle East, Barclays Kenya, and Tata Motors. He acquired skill in nation building through skill development, green technologies for rural development, public speaking, board level management, marketing, customer service, banking, operations, IT-led transformations, fraud control, impact assessment, and team management. He was awarded the Male Diversity Champion for Barclays from 1,500 nominations across all the businesses around the world. Best CEO Africa, accountable executive for the best IT bank in Kenya, and represented NSDC at UNESCO, Oxford University, and Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in London. After fulfilling corporate career of 27 years, he found himself on the advisory board of organizations in the skill development and green technologies. He is a board member of Sarthak Educational Trust, where he empowers people with disability through skills and employment. He is a director of Sun Moksha, where empowers lives and catalyze development through green technologies. He is also associated with Pan IIT Alumni Foundation, where the aim is to provide IITians spirit to vocalize to vocational education exclusively for the underprivileged through non-profit joint venture with state. As a service to the alma mater, he has become a member to the startups and incubated at IIMC, Innovation Park, and IIT Kanpur. As a public speaker, he hosted 18 knowledge sharing sessions for HR 8 p.m. during lockdown in 2020 on ABCDE, which is Academia, Business, Consulting, Development, Entrepreneurship. He's also one of the author of a unique crowdsourced book called A Chapter Out of Life. 19 of the people from the various IIMs shared the real life experiences in this book. So, welcome once again to Dr. Atul Bhatnagar on this presentation today. And we request you to kindly take forward from here your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok Bakshi ji. सबको नमस्कार. मैं डॉक्टर नहीं हूँ, मैं PhD भी नहीं हूँ. I'm just Atul Bhatnagar, and I happen to be a sevak, humble sevak in the social impact organization. Some of the places that I work with, I'm actually called a sevak. So it's a great privilege to be given this opportunity by Zena family to share some of the work that I'm associated with, especially with Sarthak Education Trust. In Sarthak, we are working for people with disabilities and empowering them through skill development and employment. That is a primary pillar of work that we are doing. Of course, we've got 3 other pillars also looking at early intervention for children between 0 to 5 years, because if a child's disability is noticed in the first few years, there's a good chance that it can be arrested, it cannot be, and it may be cured also. So it's a big opportunity to be able to create a difference in people's lives and not let them have this disability for long. I'm also with Sarthak looking at Abolympics. Abolympics is an international arena of testing skills of people with disabilities again. And lately, just about some 4 months back, our team from India went to France, and only a team of 13 people went, and 7 of them won medals. So it is a very good performance by Indian, and it's about skills. It's not about anything in sports. It's about skills. And I'm also with Sarthak trying to establish a platform by which more and more non-profit organizations or anybody, any like-minded people can come together. Because there are lots of places in India where good work is happening, but they're very small. We can't scale it up. And some of them, all of them are literally say, are hungry for funds. How do you take it forward? Because this is not a paying or this is not a profit-making exercise. So collaboration is very key. Competition is not supposed to be seen in this. So can we bring them together on a platform and make sure that they work with each other, they can help each other apply for schemes and get funding from various sources? Can they loan out their own resources, trained resources, and help the Divyangjan, who basically the Divyangjan is the center of all our work. Everything else is secondary. How can we make a difference in that person's life? And our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has given this term, Divyangjan, otherwise they're known as PWD, persons with disability. It's an established term. It's not about whether it's good or bad, but PWD is the common parlance when we refer to people with disabilities. So Sarthak now, Sarthak Education Trust, or more commonly known as Sarthak, is an organization which is headquartered here in Delhi, in Mohammadpur, right behind Bikaji Kama Place. It may be shifting its office towards Gurgaon, but the Haryana government has now given us a piece of land to create a global resource center. We have found that information means reliable information, is not easy to get. So we are trying to create this global resource center, which can be a one-stop shop for all disabilities. Now, when it comes to all disabilities, the definition for disabilities there were 7 disabilities were defined initially till 2016. Then the government of India expanded that definition to 21 disabilities. So work has happened, and what Sarthak has been working with is in the first 7 disabilities. Of course, we are now going to expand our work. So things that have now been included is dwarfism, asset survivors, and such like. Amongst the 7 that were the more, let's say, commonly understood disabilities were visually impaired, physically impaired, locomotor disability, hearing impaired, and speech impaired. So these people are people who we have been working with in the last, let's say, 15 years. Now, in 2008, Sarthak was founded by Dr. Jitendra Agarwal. Dr. Jitendra Agarwal himself is a dentist, qualified dentist, and once he was working around 2003 or 4, he was working in his clinic, and he suddenly found that he cannot see further. So he thought maybe he's overworked. So after 2-3 days, he again tried that his eyes were giving way, and they found there was macular degeneration, and his eyes were not. He was losing his vision. Now he suddenly found, from being a well-established dentist, his income level nearly dipped to 0. Nobody would give him a job, and he, of course, went through a traumatic time, being depressed at sudden turn of events in the negative form. So what he did was, then he realized, look, if he, as a qualified person, is facing so much difficulty, then what happens to the others? He established Sarthak. And he's now the CEO and founder of CEO, founder CEO of Sarthak. And I can say with great pride and with conviction that his vision is better than mine, because he has accepted this his condition, and that's what is very important: acceptance. He has accepted this condition. He has in fact turned it into a positive form. He's now in this organization. We have already placed nearly 55,000 people after training them, and he has now seen it upon himself. Okay, look, he would have been looking at smelly mouths every day and for all these periods of time. But now he's changing lives of some 55,000 people and going forward again. I mean, we're going to be touching a lakh soon and then 10 lakhs, because the Indian population, nearly 2.68 crore people were having seven kind of disabilities. Now, when the government of India has increased that number to include other disabilities, it is expected that nearly 8 crore people will be classified as PWDs. The World Health Organization has come up with the figure of nearly 1.5 billion. 15% of the world population literally have a disability or the other. So it's a very, very big task. And these are people who are not looking for sympathy from us. They want acceptance. They want that we embrace each other and we become together. We create an environment which is supporting each other. And if you were to look at it, it's not that they are disabled and we are able and all that. Yes, maybe at this moment. But when we get old, I mean, I can see for myself, when I get old and I'm reaching my 80s and all, there will be times my memory will be fading, my talking might be impaired, I may not be able to see well, I may not be able to cross the road as fast as I can today. I may not even be able to walk up to cinema hall and choose a seat that I can sit and watch a movie properly. Or I may not be able to hail an Uber for that matter. So in those places, I might be getting disabled. So if I want to visualize a world where I can be able to buy my own ticket, I can do my own cooking, maybe Maggie, sitting on my wheelchair, if can I boil my own Maggie? And can I do all the things that I'm able to do today? If I can visualize that world maybe 20 years hence, why not create that world now? So it's not about just people for disabilities. And very frankly, old age is something that you cannot wish away for. Okay, no, I'll not get old. No, everybody will get old. And if we have to get old and we would be facing some of these troubles, then why not create that environment now? When I say that environment, why don't we create toilets where a wheelchair can go in? Why can't the toilet have rails? Why can't the switches inside your house be at a convenient location? If you have to charge your mobile, you want to bend down and charge it. No, that should not be the case. Should be next to next to your bedside or any other place where you can easily reach it. So these are some of the small things we can make. It's not a very big science that what shall you do to be able to make people or this environment helpful for disabilities. Think about yourself and see what you can do for yourself in your own house. So in the house that I'm staying currently, the first thing I got done was the toilet doors. I got them widened a bit because a wheelchair should be able to go in. It was not for me, it was for my elders. But then one day I'll be also using it in the same form. These are ways by which you can, let's say, accept and embrace the environment, which can help both. Now, let's come to the fact that there are people with disability. And in 2008, how do we empower them? So empower them through skill development. What leads after skill development? Can we get them a job? And job, are the corporates ready to accept them? Because at that time, corporates used to be refusing literally and saying, no, our environment is not such that we can take people in. Who will look after them? If they have an accident, who will be responsible? And so there was a big impediment that the corporates are having. Same time, the parents of these PWDs, they used to have apprehensions. Look, if our son or daughter goes out, what happens if there's again somebody takes them for a ride or misuses their disability in some shape or form. With all these kind of impediments, Sarthak started, and Sarthak then organized job fairs. We got into various corporates. We tried to first work with their HR people. Look, let's see what are the jobs that they can do. So we identified nearly over a period of time, we have now nearly 30 odd job roles. And these people can actually do jobs much better than even so-called able people. Because these people, first of all, they are very loyal. You give them a job, they're not going to do job hunting for every 500 rupee extra somebody is giving. They are very loyal to the job. Second, they are fully focused on the job. They don't go around for coffee breaks and WhatsApp breaks and gossip in the corridor, etc. They are focused on what they do. Third, now with work from home coming in, that big impediment that was there, look, how will they travel from one place to the other? Where will they stay? And in a metro, and if they shift jobs from Delhi to Gurgaon, what will happen to their accommodation? And so on and so forth. Now, HR people are contacting me and saying, look, can we, now we are looking at finding jobs from working from home and take out those aspects of the job which, let's say, maybe require a person with full abilities around him, and the disabled people with disabilities can do certain portions of the job, which is a welcome sign. So let's say, rather than give jobs only to people which are working from home, they're now trying to segregate and see how they can employ more and more people sitting from home. I can take an example of a company like Lemon Tree Hotels. They're nearly 18% of their workforce are people with disabilities. They have set a culture. Now, the second part is one, how do you embrace them? You set a culture. What have they done to set a culture? Any person who joins Lemon Tree, within 3 months, you have to learn sign language. And these people, they may not be able to speak, but they can communicate with their hands. And they are found in, let's say, in housekeeping, they can do more rooms than people without disability. So they are so good. So their productivity is higher, their loyalty is higher, they are very focused on their work. So why not? Why shouldn't we not employ them? So Lemon Tree, I just took an example. There are many more. There are many more such companies now looking at how we can use the abilities that they have. It's not about the disability now. We're not talking of a disability anymore. We're now talking of the abilities. And Sarthak focuses on those. So we have these three-month training programs. We've got 24 centers all over India, mostly in the metros. We haven't yet been able to get into the rural hinterland because there are not very many jobs there. There are not very many companies there. But having said that, we are looking for more such opportunities. And one of the messages I'd like to give to you is, if you find there are ways by which you can get employment, then that will be a very big plus. I mean, it's not about giving money. It's you're giving them a livelihood. You are giving them, you literally training them how to fish, and so that they can be on their own. So it can be a very, very big, let's say, donation or a good deed. Let's say we don't take a donation, we talk about good deeds. We don't charge them. Now that is a very big thing, because sometimes they say, why is Sarthak not charging us? And how come they can train us so well? Well, there are donors in the background. There are corporates who give us CSR monies. There are donors who give some amounts every now and then. And through that, we train them. And the training across these 24 centers, and that centers are growing, we try and cater to the corporate needs. We don't just train them for anything and everything, but retail service assistants, e-commerce. Okay, thank you. So getting back to where we are, there are many such trainees. I've got lots of videos to show, but I'll keep it only for these two right now. Now, what we are trying to do is to reach out to as many corporates as possible, and try and find a job for these people. So on corporate sensitization program, and like I was giving a talk to ITC. I was even talking to Hindustan Levers, and even Urban Clap, Urban Company, how we can they can employ people with disabilities in various forms. I mean, some like say Urban Company, it has been found very scientifically that a person who's doing massages and who's a disabled person, he or she is much better in finding out the pain points. They are much better masseurs than a person without a disability, because they've got another sense to be able to find out those things that which escape us, people without disabilities. So there are ways by which we need that help. And today, people who may be looking at this video, how can you help? Of course, first and foremost, you can help by giving money, because all this is being done at free of cost. So the training, um, it does cost a lot of money because you have to run these centers in 24 different places. There's rental, there are people being hired to do the job, and they are not being paid very highly because everything is very social sector oriented. um, Curriculum has to be made, the desk and um, all the equipment that is required for training, all that has to be bought and installed, and then making these visits and mobilizing people. Now, mobilizing is another one where um, you may have heard of it, or you may know in your neighborhood, or even a certain place around where you stay, that there may be people with disabilities. Now, what parents and what which is generally let's say say in the Indian situation, people tend to hire, let's say, hide these people away inside the house because they don't want the parents have a sense of shame. Look, their own child is having a disability, so they won't bring them out. But our mobilizers, they actually go knocking at doors. They get these leads. They go and knocking at doors and say, "We heard that you've got a person with disability. Why don't you allow them to come and get trained, and they will be able to work on their own." And you try and make them independent and try and empower them. So, and that takes a lot of time, because by the time the child has become the esteem is so, their self-esteem is so low, their confidence levels are low. They are themselves fearing, look, what we are not good in society, etc. So there, it nearly takes 5 months to really bring them up to some kind of confidence level. Then the parents step in, and then they say, no, 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 you can't take a child away. He's never been out without us at all. How do we give them space to be able to work somewhere? So these are roadblocks which we have to work with. What can work better is, and one of the purposes of this particular presentation is, if you know Sarthak and you have confidence in Sarthak, then you recommend to people who know who may have
आज हम लोग 2 हैं, उसी साल।
So you can do that, and that will be a good deed in itself, because you then contact Sarthak and put them in your own in your own city itself, and ask them, "We have talked to such and such person, and maybe you can take it over from there," and they will take it over from there. They will try and convince the person. Second is, look, in corporates, you may be working in corporates, so maybe your wards might be working in corporates, etc. And you try and tell them, okay, look, we have heard about these people, and they can be gainfully employed, and let's try and find out ways by which you can. They may not be able to do all the jobs all the time, but the jobs that they do, they've got higher productivity. And plus, the government of India has already said there will be around 2.5% quota, and one has to employ people with disabilities as part of their inclusion program. So this is one way. Another way you can popularize the work that Sarthak is doing. Then third is, look, Zena family itself. I mean, if you're getting, you've got people from abroad or people who are now retired. If they want to come and train some of them, because they need training in interview skills and communication, even confidence building, all those kind of things, and donations of any other kind, even donations in kind or donations in cash, whichever way. That's another way too. You can find good ways of utilizing your time. I mean, people ask me sometimes, what do I get out of Sarthak? I have no returns in financial terms, but I do get good sleep. I think that is the biggest gift I can get, because there's nothing else that you feel good at heart and you have a good sleep. What else can you live for with all the stresses and with all the kind of diseases that are going around? So that is what I get, really. And I love doing my work with Sarthak. What we are now trying to do in my specific contribution to Sarthak has been mostly in upgrading the technology, doing an IT transformation. So we have now created an app called Cap Sarthi. It was done in conjunction with Capgemini. Capgemini funded it. Now, the advantage of that app is we can now reach out to every single Divyangjan all over India, anywhere. All that you do is download the app, register yourself, and you're on. When I say you're on, means you get to know what kind of schemes you can apply for, what are the job opportunities, what are the training programs, what all applies to your kind of disability, even matrimonial alliances. Where does one person with disability go and find a partner? You don't see any ads coming out in Times of India or Hindustan Times or any other place, or Jeevan Sathi or Matrimony, Bharat Matrimony. So here's a way by which you can approach and find a life partner also. So if that app is so useful, so popularize that. Cap Sarthi. Ask people to go to the Play Store and download app. And people are now very, say, mobile savvy. They will find it. Second, we have got Gyan Sarthi. Gyan Sarthi is another LMS program which we recently launched on 7th of July in World Trade Center in Mumbai. It's the first ever LMS, learning management system, designed for Divyangjans. So you can, on your laptop itself, so you may not be able to come from, let's say, if you're in Guwahati or even, let's say, Pune, we don't have a center, but then they can come and join that LMS program and learn for themselves. You can do self-study, you can be in a conducted study, so with a trainer program. So that is now possible. So you can train from various places that you are situated in. Then you got Rozgar Sarthi. This is where all the jobs that our corporates are asking for people, they are there on the website also, and you can also see it on your mobile also. So again, find what you can do. You can even be told, okay, look, you may not apply for this job now because you've got these certain skills are lacking, and you can fulfill those skills by doing these appropriate courses. And again, that's free of cost. So you can build your skills and maybe next time around take a better job also. So these are the ways by which you can get into Sarthak's fold. And our aim is to be able to take them from 0 to 60 years lately. I mean, when 60 means after that, of course, people do retire. But then the let's say employment age is between 18 to 35. That's where most of our people are. Because, less than 18, they don't employ. And after 35, they're actually well entrenched in their work and they carry on. Early intervention, another way where you can play a part is because people... अली जी आपका शायद म्यूट कर देंगे तो ठीक रहेगा. तो early intervention is again a need for creating this awareness, and that's what I'm appealing to all of you, that you, first of all, if there's a person with a disability, as I said, it's not a matter of shame. When a child is born, and sometimes you find that the child is maybe not walking properly or not talking properly, etc., And people, especially the elders, give their own bit of thinking. No, no, कुछ बच्चे देर से करते ही हैं, चलेगा. No, but in fact, when the child is getting out from the hospital where the birth is, get his tests done there itself. So if there is a disability or there is a chance for a disability to develop, it is caught there and then something can be done about it. If you let it fester in the background, hoping and only prayers are not going to work on this. You need to have, along with prayers, you need to provide the latest medical help. So it can be a very big thing to create that environment by which people take it. Okay, let me just get this thing done. And so I'm happy that I've got all the tests done, like the way you do vaccines and inoculations, etc. Get a test done for if there is any kind of disability in the child. These are ways by which you can contribute in your own little form. It may not get you big kudos, may not get you awards, but I tell you, you will feel good in your heart. And as I said, you will sleep well. And I think that is the biggest gift you can give to anybody else, and the biggest deed you can do towards God. So thank you very much, and hopefully we can make this work better. You can look up the website. It's www.sarthakindia.org. You can look up there, and there's a contact us, and there is a donation portal also. I'm not saying you have to donate in lakhs. Even if you give 100 rupees on a monthly basis, which is not going to pinch anybody's pocket, but if there are, let's say, 10,000 people giving 100 rupees every month, it's still a lot of money. Right? So try and make that as a practice. The way you buy prasad and maybe go to a temple, there is another 100 rupees, and you can create a difference in somebody's life.
True.
So with that, I leave it to you now. We look forward to as many people joining this movement to be able to embrace the Divyang Jan. That's why the name is Divyang Jan. So why not?
Correct. Can you please repeat the name of the application, mobile app?
CAP Sarthi.
How do you spell it?
CAP Sarthi. CAP Sarthi.
And the other one is Gyan Sarthi.
Yeah. CAP Sarthi, Gyan Sarthi, Rozgar Sarthi.
Rozgar Sarthi. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Atul Bhatnagar. It was a wonderful presentation. It was really an eye-opener, and I'm sure people at large will also appreciate. They'll also come to know about this Sarthak education organization. They're doing a great job, wonderful job. And you rightly said, they're not anymore PWD. They're not anymore person with disability, but ability. That's a very correct thing you said. And slowly we see that by and large, people are also accepting slowly. But still, initially, they were very harsh word to tell about these people. Then it became a physically challenged, and then now challenged, and now with ability, with special ability. It's a very nice thing to help them integrate with the society, and people accept them also. And at the same time, slowly these corporates and other companies also, I've seen many hotels, like you said, the Lemon Tree Hotel and DLF Hotel has a hotel. They have also employed some of these children from your organization. And that's a great thing you have started to help people of this society. And thank you once again very much on behalf of Sana family, and hope to hear again from you. And namaskar. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, joining us today on this presentation.